Okay, members and friends, I was just down here, a week ago, and I finished washing this. That's something Dan left behind. And this was all done. The only thing that wasn't done was this pot, because it had been burnt, so it had bleach in it. Clean it out. Burn off the burnt on the pot. That's one of my dad's tricks. But all this other stuff is my son. Maybe my middle daughter, but mostly my son. I'm telling you, members and friends, I don't know how much longer I can live here. I wanted to come down here tomorrow and can up these tomatoes. Hold on. As you can see, there's a whole bunch. Not including what's missing in my yard. These ones have turned color in the fridge. But I'm going to pick the rest that are out there and do those. There's those peppers that lady gave me. And obviously I have to get into food storage and put this stuff away, but because I forgot to wipe down the rims on these jars, I have to open up these boxes again, take out the jars, and wipe them. Take off the rim, right? And just wipe them because I forgot to do that. Not on the plums. I did those ones upstairs. Alright, this batch I did. Not this batch. Not those. Not that. I did the salmon though. I'm gonna have to put that away, right? So I was thinking tomorrow, right, get in the garage. Cat's pissing all over in there, right? Nobody's helping me with laundry. Do some laundry. My little grandson needs socks for daycare. And here I did all those dishes, cleared off everything, knowing I was going to come down here at some point. And I told my son too. I said I'm going to do the canning downstairs for these tomatoes because it's you have to bring it all down, right? And look what he does. So what? Before I start canning tomatoes, I have to come down here and wash this shit? I just finished washing it a week ago. I was washing dishes upstairs as I was washing them downstairs. Like, this is bullshit. And the thing is, if I rent it out to a stranger, the room, what do I get? I get some stranger poking through my shit. I'm turning this into a sewing room here. Like, what the fuck? I just want to smash this shit up into a big bloody bin and leave it sitting there, but, it's not going to make any difference. It fucking stinks down here. It stunk down here when I came out and I cleaned up after my daughter. Like this video should be emailed to my son and then he gets an attitude, right? Oh, Jesus Christ, this is bullshit, right? Oh, it's not like I get a living room. Well, at some point I need to come in here. That's salmon over there, people. I need to come in here and set this up so I can start sewing or something and kick these fucking kids out, right? Like, seriously. Okay, members and friends, you just seen that. I know I just seen it. Like, I am so livid. As if I don't have enough to do, right? I have these tomatoes, you've seen them. And I've got the few left in the yard. And it's raining soon. It's coming in torrents, BC coast, right? And they're already sickly plants because I never watered them over the summer. So, telling my dad, right, like, go downstairs, do some laundry tomorrow and start up on these tomatoes. And I got, some to make ketchup. And I went to the store today and I got a bag full for $1. And I can't really afford ketchup. But I've been wanting to learn how to make ketchup anyway. Right? And then, on a good year, when I have some extra money, or I get some, maybe even this year, you never know, run into a batch of tomatoes and, make myself a few jars of ketchup. And look what I have to do before I start cooking tomorrow, among other things. So when I say I don't know how long I can hang on to this house for, I'm not fucking kidding. Because that's bullcrap. And I don't want to kick my son out to rent it out to somebody else so that somebody else can start creeping my shit in the middle of the night. Because that's happened. Done that already. Been there, done that. More than one occasion. Especially if I'm trying to create, a little bit of a sewing center, right? Before I'm literally forced out of this house. But again, all this yard work, who has time to sew? So my kids get, well, it's not like I can use the living room. Well, when you were using it, all it was just a place to pile up your fucking dishes and your garbage. So, whatever. And then, things get moved around. I bring downstairs and whatever, it piles up, and then they get everything that's my fault. It all ends up becoming my fault. So I took over the fucking area. Started setting, bringing down the machines. I got a few machines I have to go through. I'm debating what I should do with them after the fact. But I'm still on the food thing, right? I still have kale I have to dehydrate. And go look for more potatoes, because there might be a second layer down there yet. We're not too sure. I'm doing all this, and I'm faced with that. And it doesn't make any sense. My son cleaned his room. That's what happened. He cleaned his room because he'll eat, and they stack pile in his room, and eventually he went down there, decided to vacuum and clean out his room. So there's big bag of garbage down there and all his fucking dishes. And if I say, well, will you do yours? Yeah. But of course he gets busy, so a week will go by. Just like that shit sat down there from my daughter, and like I said, probably some of them were his. I don't think they were all my daughters. But even if they were, they sat down there for 3-4 weeks before I finally gave in. What are my choices? I wanted to just take a big fucking bin and just smash them and leave them right there. But they'll ignore it. All of them. And then I'm out of money. Right? Because I have to replace whatever I broke sooner or later. If, you got up and down. And right now I'm stuck with up and down, so that's double the cost for me in terms of providing a functioning kitchen with pots and pans and all that other crap. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted that my son is so fucking rude. Basically. And I'm flabbergasted that my daughters are rude. Basically. And if you want to know how this all led up to it, honestly, as they were growing up, my dad, right? My stepdad, he always liked to contribute. So his chore basically was dishes and garbage. I'd cook, I'd do all gardening, whatever, cleaning, scrubbing and hanging curtains and doing whatever, washing and, steam cleaning. And his was doing the dishes. And then it came to a point where I said, look, stop doing the dishes. Let the kids do the dishes. Because as they get older, get more dishes, right? Because, they now helping themselves. It's different when they're little, right? It's more controlled. But when they start getting older and you're in like 4s and 5s of them and they're coming in and each one's grabbing a glass and each one's grabbing a plate and another one's grabbing a bowl and, they go through 3 silverware, they whatever. By the time you're done, you got to, and then if I come in and cook on top of it, or whatever, or before, or however, it just, and I'd get up in the morning and dishes would be done. So my kids never really learned how to do dishes. And now they're thinking, now they think they are entitled to not do dishes. And when they do, it's on their terms. Well, I get stuck with all of them because my dad doesn't do them anymore. And how that one started was prior to his dish retirement, his wife moved in, right? And she convinced everybody in the house that they were old and they didn't have to do anything, including my dad. So he just shut down. And then from that point forward, I've been trying to cope. Don't get me wrong, every now and then they'll go down there and clean up their mess. You know, either or, male, daughter, female, son, whatever. You know, doesn't matter if it's my daughter, daughters, mostly whatever, and then my son. Because my son is done. But then what they do is they leave it for too long in between those periods of when they finally do it. And they come along and they just shit on you when they clean their room. Because that's what they do. Middle daughter too, right? Just she'll clean her room, bring everything out, pile it all up. Not as bad as my son with his dishes, but she's done it. Well, my youngest is running around saying, I don't even use a cup. Which we all know at some point she's drinking out of a cup. Right? So, I don't know, members and friends. I was really looking forward to making some ketchup tomorrow and get on to these, canning these tomatoes and trying to stay optimistic, you know? Optimistic, you know, stay positive, right? It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, people. It's gonna get better. Okay? It's gonna get better. Tell yourself that. You tell yourself that every day. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. No matter what comes your way, it's gonna get better. Okay? That's the way you learn to cope with life. It's gonna get better. So I'll take you downstairs tomorrow when I start this ketchup.